Hey everyone, this is Pokemon Plus TV, and I'm going to be doing an overview or analysis of my series on YouTube, playlist linked in the description, Pokemon News. I'm going to be explaining the lore, episodes, and whatnot, because, some of them are pretty long, and the playlist would probably take forever to watch. So I think a breakdown would be better than you watching the entire series. Sit back, get some food, because you're in for a ride. And starting off with the first episode, Pokemon News Episode 1 is titled Torchic. This was the debut of Sobble and Scorbunny, showing off their character and how they would grow from there, and introducing their kind of roles in the series. Sobble as an announcer and Scorbunny as the main interviewer, as their first guest ends up being a Torchic, which is the obvious title of the episode. And it's not that long, a minute and 44 seconds. They kind of just talk Torchic, very hard to read. It was one of the first videos I made on the channel, so it's pretty hard to actually edit and make, compared to the newer videos like Hypercharge that came out like earlier this week. But yeah, in this video, pretty much just Torchic as the debuting character, along with learning about Scorbunny and Sobble's character development that would happen in the future. Leading off with Episode 2 is Pokemon News Episode 2, Pandofu. Again, introducing more of Sobble's goofy side and how the characters would interact, along with a clashing running gag between Pancham and Sobble. Sobble calls Bamboo disgusting, and Pancham basically attacks, beats him up, and this becomes a thing for the whole series. That's pretty much all that happens. Just debuts Master Panda, aka Pancham, and that's it for this, a minute and 48 seconds. Now, Episode 3 is a different story. Again, Pokemon News Episode 3 is Ocean Drama, with an extra scene after the main episode's over. It's a little different, as I did change the lore of this eventually throughout the series of the other videos we've made. But Sobble and Scorbunny make their way through the ocean, quote, because they're not even on water, they are on a couch that is definitely water. And what they did was end up meeting Totodile. If you watched more of this recent episodes, Totodile is one of the biggest antagonists of the series. But he ends up being chill in this episode, but ends up being a thief, he steals Sobble's credit card, and Scorbunny's glasses. And they ended up, they ended up beating him and leaving. Scorbunny leading off with saying on the next segment, saying he was going on a vacation, which leads into Episode 4. And at the end, Totodile says a catchphrase at the end of the episode. Not my proudest moment. All he says is, "I always come back." Again, boy thinks he's Afton. Alright, Episode 4 is called Bundle in the Jungle. I was out of ideas. This was basically Scorbunny walking through the forest, and he ends up meeting Bulbasaur. This Bulbasaur is different from the one that you see nowadays. The one we see now is an artist, and the one in this episode is the giant Bulbasaur. We call him Dynamax Bulbasaur because he's the massive one. Scorbunny tries to help him turn back small. That's the whole segment of the video for 9 whole minutes. But he's able to manage it and help Bulbasaur get back to his smaller form by calling on help from Trico, who does nothing, Riolu, who also fails in his goals, and Greninja, who actually manages it, but it makes him a little too small, which Riolu comes in and makes him bigger. Riolu and Scorbunny say good to part ways, and that's really it for the episode, with Riolu having a twist of fate where he might have been a backstabber instead of an ally, saying to his boss to intersect him at the airport, with the character sounding very similar to another certain somebody. Okay, episode 5 is a brief thing I can just get out of the way. This is Welcome to the Avalon region, a custom Fakemon region I made when I was young, like 6th grade. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about it at the time because I thought it was like so cool. I mean, I did redraw these starters. If you'd like to see those, let me know. I can definitely show you the redone starters in a future time. But for now, it's just me discussing about the 3 starters I had made for the region, promising more of this region. I won't be showing the rest of the region. It's just regional variants. That's all I did, just draw random stuff. For 8 minutes, I talk about these 3 starters: Bulbza, Meowser, and Ziki. I did remaster them, so they should be featured maybe in a future time, or maybe even make a plushie out of them. Who knows? All the possibilities are limitless. I don't know. Now, this next one is when they debuted a couple new Pokemon. Is when they finished all the teasing of the Pokemon in for Scarlet and Violet. We have episode 6, which is titled Paldea is Here. Basically all the characters, or Sobble and Scorbunny, not all the characters. At the time, they were just rating the new designs, and pretty much nothing important, plot relevant happened here. Except there was a bonus clip towards the end. They were going to try to fly it to Paldea and ended up falling off the cliff. Sobble goes flying God knows where, and Scorbunny falls straight down and gets rescued by a mysterious character, which if you're a Pokemon expert, you would know who it is. Okay, here we go. The first ever Pokemon News exclusive, a 17-minute video. And Jesus, God knows why I made this long. But basically, the title of this exclusive Pokemon News episode, not really, just not part of the main episodes, which it should be, but it's not, is even bad guys have their moments. Basically, Totodile is goofing along with Mimikyu here, and they're kind of just getting ready to go to a jungle area because they found out about I don't know, something happened about, I believe, I want to put it with the phone call from Ryolu, but that's a whole different video. So let me know what you think it was about. It's not really important to the lore of this. It's an exclusive episode, but it's a part of the season, so I had to put it here. Alright, Pokemon News episode 7, the plot twist. 15-minute long episode. Yes, I know a lot of the videos I make, if they're long, they usually have a lot of plot relevance or just too many bloopers I just didn't take out. In this episode, it's pretty odd. In episode 7, we get to see the beginning of a bunch of characters. Mimikyu plays a major role. You see Grookey debut, and Grookey's debut is actually pretty good. She debuts for the first time. She's a woman, and she basically is here to she saves Scorbunny's life and is willing to help them find Sobble, as she sees a connection between the 3 of them. Torchica pops up again, nice, fights Totodile, absolutely crushes him, and then we get introduced to the Squirtle Squad, or Squirtle Gang, which are just a group of Squirtles that they threw Sobble off a cliff and beat them all up, and Grookey destroyed them all. I don't know how to explain it. Just a bunch of chaos is what I can call it. And that's episode 7. Now the next exclusive episode pops up right after this, a 23-minute long episode. Again, these are exclusive, and I was just goofing with most of these videos. The exclusive video was me with my friend, so I was definitely goofing a lot with this one. And it used to be called A Bunch of Stuff, like a long title. I changed it to a shortened title. It used to be called like The Masters and the Chef's Adventure in the Jungle or something, and I eventually changed it to just Master of the Jungle. It just was better, and honestly just way faster to title it like that. Basically, Totodile meets up with the main people of Bulbasaur's episode. The episode 4, most of the characters like Trico, Greninja, Riolu, Oshawott are kind of there in a meeting with Mimikyu and Totodile there. Totodile insults Mimikyu a lot in this episode. Riolu, Pancham jumps them, and Riolu rebels with Pancham, along with Mimikyu, to fight back against all the guys in episode 4. And they end up tracking down everyone one by one, starting with Trico, then Greninja, Oshawott, etc., etc. Eventually, they kind of just get information on where Totodile's located. They fight Totodile. Good fight. A lot of stuff towards the end of the episode, like the Fantastic Fantastic Four. There was Scorpion and Sobble briefly. And Mimikyu rides off to the sunset to make his chef videos. That's all I got for this. After a whole year, I was a little discouraged after a little while of making my videos. I eventually found the courage to make them again. And eventually in November of last year, I made Pokemon News Episode 8, continuing the series with Welcome to the Carnival. This episode was kind of unique. So we have Scorbunny, Sobble, Grookey, Torchic, and Pancham, because after episode 7, I should have said it earlier, but they all went to a carnival to try to track down Totodile and maybe find their connection with each other again. But all that happens is that just chaos erupts and all this nonsense as Totodile has this thing with Hoopa, and carnival's rigged basically, where once you come in you can never leave, blah blah blah. They ended up defeating all the bad guys and being able to let everybody escape. That's it for episode 8. Episode 9 was one of the weirder cases, as it finally went back down to 5-minute long video. And it wasn't that insane. This video is titled Memory Loss. It's about the new debut of Psyduck. He debuts and he has this weird memory problem issue, and Scorbunny and Sobble are here to fix it. Rotom also debuts in this video. I wanted to plan on a way to implement his role in the story. Definitely expect an origin story for him, probably. Maybe a poll, you can choose Rotom, hopefully, and they can find out why Rotom is, the newscast, because I left an empty slot on purpose. But pretty much, in this episode, it's just about them trying to fix Psyduck's memory issues, and they're able to do so by giving him a certain medication that he has to take. He does mention this in the murder mystery video, one of my news videos, that he did take all his medication for this, and yeah, he does actually pass out from it, so let's not talk about that. Halfway there, not really halfway there, we were halfway there a long time ago. Pokemon News Episode 10, The Rescue. This episode, at the end of episode 9, I should have said it again earlier, Scorbunny and Sobble end up disappearing out of nowhere. What it looks like in everybody else's view. We end up getting another debut from Detective Charmander, who helps Grookey look for her friends. They also team up with Pancham for this. They go into Totodile's base and they end up fighting characters like Green, Hoopa, Meowth, etc. A bunch of characters. And while going through, they have to fight a whole horde of them, of characters, along with Charmander that does disappear out of nowhere, so he's not here for this fight. So just Pancham and Grookey. Rotom crashes the fight midway through and ends up summoning, Pancham summons Komasan, and I forgot to mention that, Pancham has yokai medals, like Yokai Watch. He summons Komasan, and we have Rotom summoning Noko, which ends up destroying Totodile and Hoopa, as they're the last two standing. And they're all able to escape. 11-minute long video. Not that bad, but not as good, not as amazing length as all the other ones are. Next up is the Pokemon News Episode 11, The Falling Out. Now this is basically kind of it could function as an origin story video, but it's not. It's basically all about Sobble and his thing with Lapras. They don't really get along for some reason. Although Lapras is fine with Sobble. Sobble has this weird thing with Lapras. When he sees her, he immediately gets freaked out, freezes up, or just, tiptoes away or something. There's basically this trauma in high school where Sobble mistakenly saw Lapras part of the story. He saw the story differently. He sees Lapras as his bully. That's why he bullied Totodile. But in reality, Sobble kind of just disappeared every time he saw Lapras basically tried to ignore her. And then when she talked to Totodile, he didn't like that she was talking to Totodile. She tells him that he's a little crybaby because of that, because he's whining about it. He takes this as kind of too hard. He takes it personally. And that's pretty much the episode. Not plot relevant, just explaining more about Sobble. Now, episode 12. It went through a couple revamps, not gonna lie. It had changed a lot since the last time I've done it. The thumbnail changed it. It looks a lot better. And my preference, I know it's probably one of the best ones. But this video is titled The Artist. Now, in this video, basically, they're all the characters we have here are chilling. We have Mimikyu, we have Scorbunny, Sobble, Grookey, and even Scorbunny's girlfriend, Amolga. They're all vibing and kind of just chillaxing, doing nothing really that insane. However, Bulbasaur drops into the party, and they're all confused why he's here. And he's here because Sobble invited him, because they were all hanging out. Bulbasaur, the artist Bulbasaur, is going to be one of Sobble's bestest friends, and they kind of just chill together, and he kind of just draws pictures of all the main cast of characters here as funny things. He draws Mimikyu as a chef, he draws Sobble as a ball for some reason. He draws Grookey as an ice cream cone, he draws Scorbunny and Amolga as Barbie and Ken. Don't ask me why, ask them. And while doing this, Monty drops in trying to attack. But Monty sees the drawings and he wants Bulbasaur to draw a picture of him as a shredded Giga Chad, and he does. Eventually he grabs Sobble and slams him to the floor. Sobble's in the hospital and Bulbasaur has to draw a picture of him as insanely shredded instead of Monty shredded. He usually Giga Chad shredded, even more than Giga Chad, like Omega Chad shredded. And that's pretty much it. He helps Sobble come back to life, and he beats Monty just by throwing him across the room. That's it. 4-minute long video. That's a blessing from heaven. Now this video is the Pokemon News episode 13, High Cliffs. The plot originally was going to be that Sobble and Scorbunny would meet a Rowlet character on top of the cliff, which is what they do. But the plot did change into Scorbunny and Sobble having to climb up the mountain to meet their new mountain climbing guest. It is not going to be Sir Rowlet McGoodman. It was instead changed to just be a different character that was unnamed. It's just Rowlet, and he ends up getting eaten in this video. Scorbunny and Sobble get a call about a new guest, and they find out that he's on top of the cliff. So they need to find their way up. But two characters come out of nowhere, Pancham and Darumaka, and they kind of are the ones who kind of ruin this whole video, as they do kind of act as the antagonists, as they kind of are preventing them somehow with their goofiness. Pancham with consistent beatings and also him breaking his leg by high jump kicking and missing. Darumaka just exploding like the usual. Scorbunny makes it to the top and realizes that, they all went down. They're still at the bottom of the mountain, and Rowlet was down there and he was already eaten by Darumaka. And Darumaka explains it is canon lore. This Rowlet dude is dead. Sorry about it, he's unalived. But pretty much just gone. And that will be episode 13. Alright, the season finale. Now this video is pretty self-explanatory by the title. Where's Sobble? Scorbunny, Grookey, Amolga, and Rotom realize Sobble hasn't come back in a whole week. He's been missing. So, what do? Score Bunny is kind of worried, and everyone shows no care except for Emolga. Emolga has been very supportive throughout the entirety of their relationship. Emolga has shown the most respect towards Score Bunny, even caring for his friends who have disappeared. She used to be friends with Sobble, so she understands how scary it could be. But everyone else doesn't really care. They go around asking some of the guests from the first season. They ask Torchic, they ask Pancham, they ask the artist Bulbasaur, they ask I think they ask Meowth, but I'm not sure. I think they ask Psyduck though. They ask Lapras, and they ask a lot of characters. They ask Pancham as well at the party, because it's a party for Sobble's gone party, and he doesn't really care. Again, nobody cares. They're all partying, most characters, and they're having time of their life. He's gone, you know. They called him annoying and kind of just like way too over hyper and stuff. So most of them are really happy he's gone. Scorbunny falls into a mental depressing state, and he kind of just leaves the party, and he's kind of just breaking down. Emolga tries to get the party canceled, and Darumaka kind of just says what happened to Sobble, as he just like, he went to do a lot of things. Sobble went to do his daily errands. He went on a walk, he went to go to the comic book store, he went to Taco Bell to get some food, and then he went to Five Below, and then he disappeared. Darumaka saw the whole thing, said nothing, which made a lot of characters. They made Emolga angry, and she eventually basically tells Rotom to help with this out, cancel the party, by saying he's not getting a PS5 if he doesn't do it. And Rotom like snaps and tells everybody the party is over. And at the end, he's the one who actually, Pancham refuses and eventually gets knocked out by Rotom, and everybody leaves the party. With the ending of this actually leads into the season 2's lore. Totodile has Sobble captive. We see him getting strangled, kind of, or held up. And Totodile is going to try to cancel Pokemon News in the next season. Even telling Quaxly, Sprigatito, and Fuecoco, his new henchmen and new debuts in Pokemon News, to try to get it canceled with their new thing. Now, I enjoy making the Pokemon News episodes, and I will definitely have fun making Pokemon News Season 2. I'm already looking forward to it, as I already know what we're going to do. I do want to make something clear, though. I did end up changing Pokemon News Season 2's the new group, which was called Pokemon Report. I had decided to change the name into Paldean Report to fit the theme better. I hope it's a good change, as I think it's going to be more diverse than Pokemon News, changing it to their home region. But that is it for this video. If you like this video and you'd like to see Season 2's analysis once we finished it, make sure to like and subscribe. And I think the next analysis-based video we're doing is the 7 Deadly Sins. So yeah, I'll catch you when we get that ready for you guys.